What you are about to see is inspired and clipped by true live streams. According to the FBI, there are an estimated 1 to 2 We Watched a Movie live streams on YouTube each week. On the night of this live stream, Mike and Jay discussed much more than what you will find in this video. There was horrible and yet hilarious things said, like that time where Jay said, bleep, and Mike was all like, and Jay said, the macabre conversations that took place on that night are still not entirely known, unless you watch the full recording of the We Watched a Movie live stream posted in the pinned comment below. And be sure to catch the next one live to chat and hang out with those sexy men. Or else this Stranger-style opening will become much more than a parody.
These are our top 10 movies of the year 1990. They have to be the year 1990, and they can be any genre. Jay, what's your number 10, you piece of fucking shit?
Well, we were talking about it earlier. It's going to be Ernest Goes to Jail is my number 10.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. No, it's not. Yeah, I think it's spelled Ernest like that, but it might not be. Either way, I love the movie. There's something about it that we were talking about comfort shows and comfort movies. There's something about this movie that I always remember watching as a kid and loving everything about it. And it really was a comfort thing for me. Small Dilks. I mean, yeah, because they're easy to, it works it in. It works it
Appreciate in. You shouting us out.
For sure, Greg. But yeah, so and there, my favorite is Ernest Goes to Camp. Ernest Goes to Camp was the funniest one I remember watching, and Scared Stupid. But Goes to Camp, I remember it never was in. Like always, some motherfucker had checked it out of the video store, so I always had to watch Goes to Jail. But Ernest P. Worrell, dude, like we were talking about this earlier, dude. Imagine this, dude. Like him, Jim Carrey in his prime, and Robin Williams all doing a movie together. It would have been phenomenal. Because like I read a comment, they were like, he's like a living cartoon. Like he really was. Ernest P. Worrell was a living cartoon. I remember this movie that was like where he like dressed up as the old lady, and he's like, "Does your mother know that you treat someone so disrespectfully? Now let's be. My car is overheating as it is." And then the bowling chains fall out of his because as his tits, and he's like, "The doctor said I would only need to wear them after the surgery." And then he's like, and then the movie's obviously a classic. He's like, "I came, I saw, I got blowed up." Yeah, dude,
that's when we had like those big hoses on it, right? And he was like smoking a cigarette.
Yeah,
and had
no,
the
he wasn't.
on.
No, he was just. No, he wasn't. He was just like he was trying to get out of jail, and he like dressed up as an old woman with like a neck brace. And then the guy at the guard was like, "Ma'am, I don't even know how you got back here." He's like, "Does your?" He goes, "My son. I was visiting my son back here. And even the most bad seed can fall from the most delicate flower." I thought it was great, dude. I loved Ernest P. Worrell. Yeah, Ernest Goes to Jail was always fun, dude. Always fun movie. I always loved it a lot.
I gotta go back and watch that. Julian Black said there's a guy on TikTok who cosplays Ernest. He's probably the guy that goes to Scarefest that we hung out with once. No, it's not that guy.
I don't think it's that guy.
That guy crushes though. I think he's
that guy's good, but I think he's more of a local like celebrity than he is like big time.
You can use TikTok in Kentucky, Jay. It's possible.
No, it's not. Jeez. You know, we have to have Dixie cups.
Hello. I remember that scene you're talking about specifically. I got to go back and watch that. Now I'm going to put that on my list for sure. My number 10 is going to be, we're going to start it off with the horror taste in the mouth. It's going to be The Exorcist Part 3.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. A movie I did not watch in the 90s. I watched this movie for the first time like 10 years ago or something like that, dude. And is it like the first Exorcist? No, it's a completely different movie. It's almost a different genre, really. Kind of feels like a detective film more than anything, more like a drama. But you got that maybe the greatest jump scare of all time, obviously, with the lady with the big shears in the hospital. But I love the detective story. I love how all that played out. It had the vibe of The Exorcist. It had that dark, like that just felt like something was wrong inside of the entire movie that no movies, and maybe the first half of David Gordon Green's Exorcist, the vibe was almost there for the first half, and then it nosedived into an ocean of fire and piss. But it had that. Yeah, and then you have that
the LA River.
You had that fucking Oscar-worthy performance by Brad Dourif at the end that really just set it off. I love that movie. It's a movie that you sit in for, you watch on a rainy day, you get your butt comfortable and you get your Cheetos out because you really gotta commit you get your ass out there and you find that goddamn dog. You got to commit to that movie, but it's such a rewarding experience when you do.
Yeah, I agree. I love The Exorcist 3, and actually it goes into my number 9. That's what I picked.
Woo!
Is The Exorcist 3. Yeah, it was such a great movie from that fucking bloodstained turd that was Exorcist 2. That everybody like, what a waste of time. Like, you just gave us like the Cliff Notes version of what happened in Exorcist 1. It's like, okay, yeah, great. We're gonna be in a hospital and have flashbacks, and Exorcist 2 is fucking terrible, boring as shit. And then The Exorcist 3 comes out, and it actually does something pretty well for a third film in a franchise. It creates its own unique story that you didn't think it was like. It was, you thought it was just gonna be Reagan. It was gonna be like the rehash shit. No, it's great. Great actors. Great tone, great setting. And to be fair, I didn't remember this movie at all. I think I'd watched it. It might have been like on TNT Monster Vision when I was a kid, and I just like watched it and didn't really remember it or whatever. But it wasn't until Mike and I did the Exorcist Man versus Movie that when we watched it, it was such a breath of fresh air after watching Exorcist 1, which was great. Then getting through 2, it's like, you know, like getting through Exorcist 2 is like, I don't know, getting a hemorrhoid removed or something. It was very uncomfortable and painful, and it was like shit. And then the third one was so good. And Brad Dourif is legendary in that. He's so well done, and he's well casted. Yeah, I agree.
My number 9 is going to be a little thing I like to call marked for death.
I wanted to put it up there so much, but I didn't.
Yeah. Dude, 1990 was a great fucking year for Steven Seagal, my friends. And the thing about Marked for Death that made it such a special Steven Seagal movie, it's one of his very fucking few movies in his whole filmography where he actually had a formidable bad guy to go up against. William Forsythe and Above the Law, definitely, but like some of the biggest problems with the other movies were they had the lack of a scary bad guy because Steven Seagal never wanted to be perceived as an underdog, unlike what Jean-Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone were so good at. Seagal wouldn't even like to be touched in his movies, right? He didn't like to be hit or anything. But in Marked for Death, those bad guys were scary as shit. They had the voodoo shit that they were doing, the Jamaican drug lords or whatever they were fucking freaky as shit. And it's one of the most badass just Steven Seagal movies of his entire filmography. It's a kick-ass film. Maybe the darkest movie in his filmography too, if you don't include the later pieces of shit that he's done.
Marked for Death is like it's probably my top 3 favorite Seagal movies of all time. Great, good time. My number 8 is going to be Tremors. Tremors. Yes. Kevin Bacon, no. Kevin Baconator. Fuck you. You know, listen, dude. Like, it's so. You know, we all know the urban. Well, not even an urban legend. We all know the story behind this movie. This was like the last straw for Kevin Bacon. He was like, "I'm making a movie about fucking worms in the desert. My fucking career's over. Goddamn Italians." He was done. Like, he had no idea.
Don't cry in front of the Mexicans.
Don't do it now. He had no idea this movie was going to be like kind of like some regeneration juice for his career because it was a hit. And he was thinking when he made this movie, like, it was going to be a dog shit ass movie, and it was just a movie he was trying to make, you know, to pay the bills. But dude, what a great movie! It's so simple. It's such a creature feature film, and it's always strange to me that they put it in horror. Of course, I know why they put it in horror. I mean, there's some graphic violence and there's some blood in it and stuff like that.
And worms.
Yeah, but at the same time, dude, I love every goddamn character in this movie. It's so fun. It's more action. Oh, I guess it would be action horror than anything else. But yeah, dude, and Kevin Bacon and the guy that played Earl, they had great chemistry. It was so it reminded me of Mike. Like doing it's like, man, we're just trying to get out of this town, man. One more job. You just got to do one more job, man. And then we're going to hit the road. We're going to live like kings. I don't know, man. Like, it's so relatable. Like, you know, he just down on his luck. They're both just not even down on their luck. They're just like, I need to start over. I need to get out of here. I want to get out of this small, confided, you know, small town. And I get stopped by these fucking worms that live out in the desert. It's a great movie, dude.
Yeah. As the good one, my number 8 is going to be, I feel like this one's going to be on your list, but probably much higher. RoboCop 2, The Cockening.
The Cockening. It was such a good movie. I almost burst at the seams watching it.
Yeah, you know, there's a regular cock is fine, but a RoboCop, it's a cybernetic organism. You know, it feels like flesh, but it has the capabilities of a robot. I'm sorry, RoboCop 2 is going to be my number 8. Probably low on the list for some, but Kane,
quite low.
Fucking man. This movie is fucking funny as shit, dude. An underrated comedy. When he starts to spaz out and figure out, is it the mood lovely tonight? Like that shit. I love it, dude. It's so entertaining when he goes in and he faces off against the kids, all that shit. But it still had the weight of the first movie. I felt like I find RoboCop 2 to be really it's kind of like Ghostbusters to Ghostbusters 2. Like the comedy factor was upped a little bit, except for Ghostbusters wasn't as dark as the original RoboCop. So I don't know how you want to put that, but yeah, it's one of the best sequels of all time, in my opinion.
I'm not going to spoil it, but RoboCop 2 to me is it's on my list for sure. But it's
I imagine.
I love the way he looked in this one. They went more of a cobalt blue. I love that. I think to me that's the version of RoboCop that I always remember, like the bluish of his armor,
nice blue,
and they did some great stuff. You know, there's like great eyes. Murphy's like the best that money can buy, and then he's like, he goes, "What's bugging you, Murph?" Like Kane's bugging me. I loved. There was a lot more memorable moments in this, in my opinion, than even RoboCop 1, because he became a full blown superhero when even when the cops were striking, he was like, and he electrocutes himself, and he's like, "Are we cops?" Like, I loved it, dude. Yeah, and Kane was a much better bad guy. Like, he was a lot more in your face, and then he became he became this fucking dude at the end of the movie. Like, it was a true battle for RoboCop. My number 7 is going to be Flatliners.
This one
with Kiefer Sutherland. You also have Kevin Bacon. My name is Jay, and I love dinghies in my butt. And why not? Because that feels good. But anyway, it's Flatliners with Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, and Julia Roberts. It was a cool movie when it came out, and it was a scary movie. It was also like a cool psychological thriller. It was more of a psychological thriller, but they did a great job with like exploring what would the afterlife be. And there's so many movies now that copy what they did. There's a new one that I haven't even watched now, where you can the call on the telephone or something. I haven't watched it. You watched it. Don't hang up or call me again. What the fuck was it called?
Talk to me.
Talk to me. Talk dirty to me. Talk to me. Yeah, that, like, there's so many. There's other movies like that too. That was like,
I see the reference though. I do see the correlation.
Well, I think the one that the most resembled it was the Lazarus Project, which fucking sucked. But they tried to do what Flatliners did. But like, everybody was wearing like goddamn cool ass like overcoats. It was all like in a weird the way they shot it. And it was like smoking cigarettes and like blue light, and they're like,
it was goth as fuck, dude.
I don't know what we should be doing, but I don't think we should go back there.
Yeah, it was like they were all the whole point was they were all trying to get in Julia Roberts' pants. Like, so bad. Like, I could stay dead the longest. It's crazy. I love Flatliners, dude. It's a great movie. Great choice, my friend. My number 7 is going to be Dudes with Big. No, that was different.
That's a classic.
Yeah, my number 7. It's going to seem kind of low to some. Total Recall. It's going to be my number 7. I love it. I want to go to Mars. That's terrible. I can't do that.
Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars.
Dude, I love that fucking Schwarzenegger got to do this movie, dude, because you could see this movie being done with someone other than Schwarzenegger pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he's in it just elevated it, because not only is it a great Verhoeven movie, not only is it a badass, just kick-ass sci-fi movie that just captured the world's attention when it came out, and it's also really dark and twisted and fucked up in all the right ways, but now you add the Schwarzenegger level to it, and I never could. My mind was always blown at how hot Sharon Stone was in this fucking movie, dude.
Ooh.
And how bad it would suck to have that be your
definitely
wife.
Play tennis. No doubt.
But it's not a when he's dressed as the woman. I can't remember the line. He's dressed as the woman. He's
No. He goes, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
That's like when you're in public and you start to have an anxiety attack. That's exactly what it feels like.
Or like that THC wax hits you at the wrong moment. 2 weeks.
Oh, like, I think that's every man's worst fear, is that you're going to come home one day and your wife's going to try to kill you. Or I
thought it was like when it's like, hey, when I wake up, it's like, I'm sober now. I've married you. What?
It's like, consider this a divorce. That's fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, and the special effects on it were fucking incredible. Like when they're suffocating on Mars, and like you got to see a girl with 3 tits.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. That got burned into my brain as a young kid.
Yeah. Because and when you feel the crunch, you're there. Dude, it's a great fucking movie.
What's your number 6, slut?
My number 6 is going to be a Sam Raimi classic that a lot of people don't talk about. Darkman. Liam Neeson.
I knew it before you said it. Ha!
Yeah, dude, listen, it came out in 1990. In my opinion, you look at something like the 89 Batman movie with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton. Up to that point, like, you had never seen anything like it, right? And then Darkman comes out, maybe because of the inspiration behind Tim Burton's Batman. It really was another Batman movie, but just slightly more psychotic. Because Darkman is like, he is a superhero, but he's got his powers in a different way. Like, he can't feel any pain, and he's got this adrenaline rush that gives him superhuman strength. He's also struggling with what he looks like and this rage that, like, it's such a great concept. The movie is so good. The fact that Liam Neeson is like this well-to-do scientist that's like working on skin to help burn victims, the organic skin, and then these fucking assholes come in and steal his technology, burn his ass up, and then he comes back after being in the hospital, wrapped up in all the to take revenge. It's such a simple plot. It's a revenge thriller movie. But it's got the elements of something like Batman, the 89 Batman throughout the entire movie. Like, they could be in the same universe. Like, literally, Darkman could take place in Gotham. Yeah, and I when I watch it, I get the same vibes and feels that I get when I watch 89 Batman.
I totally get it, man. It's a great choice. It made my honorable mentions. I wanted to put it in my list so badly. My number 6 is going to be a movie that I'm sure is probably on your list, but you don't have to spoil it. I'm going Lionheart at number 6, my good man. Jean-Claude Van Damme classic. It was really the one of the first movies. It would have been higher. Like, it really would have been higher because it's a fucking great movie. Like, it's like a 9 or a 10 on the scale. Jean-Claude Van Damme. The only problem at all with this movie is that they redid it with Bloodsport. They basically did the same thing with Kickboxer. And I'd say that Bloodsport and Kickboxer are arguably better movies, but Lionheart, fucking dude, it's so good. And if you love Bloodsport or you love Kickboxer and you haven't given Lionheart a chance, I'm telling you, it's got all the same shit. It's got all the fixins. It's got the same story. It's this dude who goes through hell and ends up in fighting competitions. And it's fucking awesome. And once again, Jean-Claude was so good at this, dude. I was talking about Steven Seagal earlier and how he just didn't have good enough bad guys. Jean-Claude had Tong Po. Jean-Claude had what's the dude's name in Bloodsport? I can't remember his name.
Chung Lee.
And then in this one, you've got this big, huge, fucking scary ass dude. And the story was heartfelt, and it's an underdog story. It's got amazing fight scenes. It's got like a Grand Theft Auto kind of rise from the bottom to the top storyline where he's fighting in bigger and bigger fights, and he's fighting in car garages surrounded by limos and shit, and he's fighting in pools and like drowning each other in the water and shit like that.
I have to go pee. I'll be back.
All right. Enjoy your pee. I'll go down a couple more. Okay. My number 5 is going to be Kindergarten Cop. It was one of the names I saw you guys in the chat talk about as soon as this list was brought up. But Potty Poopa, dude, I love this movie so fucking much, and it showcases all of Schwarzenegger's talents. He has I love in the beginning of the movie, he's literally dressed like Michael Biehn was, like Kyle Reese was in the original Terminator movie. He's like scruffy, he's got the glass, the big overcoat, show what a badass he is. And you get to see the dirty side of John Kimball. And then when he has to go and he has to pretend to be this kindergarten substitute teacher, you get to watch this fish out of water storyline of him doing this shit. And you get so many fucking classic Arnold quotes, who is your daddy and what does it do? But it's also a heartfelt movie too. And I love the bad guy. The bad guy was so fucking good. Underrated ass bad guy. The dude with the ponytail, he's like, Dominic, I'm your father, Dominic, come to me. He was so fucking creepy, man. And D-Land, that was the one that all of us kids referenced when we were growing up when this movie's out. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Fucking that joke killed in classrooms across America. I don't think people knew like how big the reach for fucking Kindergarten Cop was, man. Jay's coming back, so I'll let him give his number 5. Haha. Hey, you piece of shit with the little bladder and big dick, small dick. Your dick tastes weird. Hey, I'm gonna change my battery out real quick if you want to give your number 5.
Okay. I'll give you my number 5. I'll tell you it. My number 5 we've already talked about, so I'm not gonna go in much detail about it. Much like my sex life, there's not much to be told. It's gonna be RoboCop 2. Is my number 5. While RoboCop 1 is significant for many reasons, and it was so good on the satire and the violence and the drama that they were able to incorporate into the film, RoboCop 2 just holds a special place in my heart and fart for all time. Do I enjoy it more than RoboCop 1? Man, that's hard to say, because Mike's right. It goes back to the argument of Ghostbusters 1 or 2, which is superior. I mean, Ghostbusters 1 is superior in every way, but Ghostbusters 2 is one of those rare sequels that hold up just as well, in my opinion, to the original. RoboCop 2 just takes. They did such a great job with what was, pre-built with RoboCop 1, and then just moved on with that. Murphy had got his soul back essentially at the end of RoboCop 1, and then they just took that further with RoboCop 2, in my opinion, because it's he knows. Remember when he gets all fucked up, and then they're putting him back together, and they're like, and that bitch is like, "What's your name?" He's like, "I'm Alex J. Murphy." Police officer's like, "No, that's a glitch. Alex Murphy's dead. Who are you?" He goes, "You type it, I think it." It destroys the idea of the humanity part of him, and then he has to regain that. So it was just a fun movie.
And I also just felt bad for him while all that shit was going down too. Like when he was spazzing out, I was like, "Oh, stop it, Robo."
Yeah. Well, he had no choice. He's like, they just programmed all this nonsense into him.
Birthday, bitch. My number 4 is going to be Tremors. We already talked about it. I just think it's it's one of the best horror comedies. It's a great horror comedy. It's a great little community movie. It had fucking amazing jokes in it. The practical effects, again, this movie, even with a big budget, would probably be ruined today by them making crazy
CGI.
wild CGI worms. But these characters felt like nothing you'd ever seen before. It didn't feel like cardboard cutouts or a specific character they were trying to make. It just felt like they literally plucked 2 dudes out of a Walmart in the South and were like, "We're going to make a movie about you two because you're funny." Yeah. Beavis and Butthead kind of way. And then you add the monster stuff, and you add the sharp writing, and you add the cool stuff to it. Tremors fucking rules, and everybody knows it. So there's not a whole lot you have
they
to
were
say
they were everyday guys. Anybody, they could be your neighbors, or in the South anyway. That's my I live in the trailer home down from them. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I got PP real quick. I'll let you go ahead and give your number 4. Say it before I go because I want to know.
Well, we've talked Total Recall.
Total Recall.
We know here at Recall, we make you remember shit that you don't want to remember. Recall. I told you don't go down that place. Once you do, you went down that fucking place. It's a great movie. 100%. It's a unique movie, and it's one that, like I mentioned before, that I never thought I'd see Arnold in. While Arnold had dabbled in with the sci-fi, in the sci-fi horror element with Predator, I never thought he would do something like this. I mean, Terminator, yes, and Terminator 2, but just not in this. This is more of a psychological focused film. The special effects on it were great. Arnold was great. The supporting cast was great. Sharon Stone was great. The remake, by the way, with Colin Farrell was not. I got to give them props that they did their best to try to do something unique, but I don't give a fuck about what's happening on Earth. I wanted to be. They should have just kept it at Mars, but anyhow.
My number 3 shall be. This is going to seem high. It's going to make me seem like I'm high, but it's going to be hard to kill. Steven Seagal, hard to kill. I know, and this is why I said these aren't the 10 best movies of 1990, but these are my favorite 10. And dude, Hard to Kill might be my favorite Steven Seagal movie of all time. It's so cool, dude, the way it fucking comes out, because he's in bed with his wife, and the bad guys come in and they shoot him up, and then he's thought to be dead, but then he survives and he grows this big fucking beard, and then they have to escape the hospital, and this badass fucking scene where they escape, and then him and Kelly LeBrock, I think her name is, dude, and you got this
weird science chick,
yeah, dude, and they married, and he fucked that up really bad, but that crazy scene where she's just this nurse and she's taking care of him, but to watch him go from, again, he didn't show himself be weak enough. That was his biggest problem. So what the hell just happened? My dog just flipped out. But dude, when he's coming back and bringing himself back, and he's doing the acupuncture, and it's done, and that music's playing, it's the closest thing you'll get to a Steven Seagal montage. The music's playing, he's got the fucking acupuncture, he's out in the field punching that 2x4. It's like, hey, hey, I'm fucking doing that shit until his fists are bleeding and he wants revenge and he goes after.
And he pulls up that root and he like slices it with a katana sword. And I was like, oh, now you're ready. I see. My number 3 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The original. Okay. Jose Canseco back. Tell me, you didn't pay money for this. Look like a giant turtle in a trench coat. Is this your first time in New York? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love it. He goes, damn! And he like, listen, wise man once say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. And that holds true today, Domino's. But I like, listen, seeing this movie in 1990, they look so cool, man. Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, the brothers, they all looked amazing. They did such great with the puppeteering. I think it was Stan Winston that worked on the suits. I could be wrong. It could be Jim. No, it was Jim Henson. It was Jim Henson. Stan Winston is awesome too, but Jim Henson worked on those suits. They looked incredible. And by like TMNT, the original is so close to what the original comic book was. I mean, they flirted with that line as much as they could without going completely dark with it. Yeah. But it's so cool. Casey Jones is great. April O'Neil was great. All of them were great. And that movie, man, just I remember watching the cartoon when you were a kid, and then you get that in 1990. You get that movie, that I remember the live action, like the poster, and you just see their heads popping up in the sewer. And it was so cool to see that movie poster because it was like coming in summer of 90. I was like, oh my God.
This one will be easy because I'm right there with you, dude. My number 2 is TMNT. Yeah, dude, it's easy. What I loved about TMNT 2, by the way, or Secret of the Ooze, for one, I love the green shit in the ooze. That shit was awesome. I don't know, there was something about it, but you got to see their new digs like in the sewer. That was fucking cool. Awesome.
The subway.
Yeah, dude, there was not, and you guys don't understand what it was like being our age. Maybe you do if you were, but like being our age and having a Turtles movie live action come out and be taken so seriously the way TMNT was, it was fucking mind blowing, dude. And it was a goddamn sensation. I'll never forget the third Turtles movie, even though it sucked. We went to the theater, to one of those theaters that served pizza. And this was like one of the first ones to do it. They served food in the thing. And they actually had dudes at the movie theater dressed as Ninja Turtles in the suits, like greeting families when they walked in. Like Turtle Mania was fucking real. Turtle Mania, brother. Yeah, was legit. It was a fucking sensation. It was a great time to be a kid, man.
My number two is going to be, I think, one of the best buddy cop movies of all time, Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash.
What the fuck? Wait, what?
Did you not know it came out in 1990s?
No, dude. I gotta double check you son of a bitch.
No, it was listed as a, like, I had to look up, like, it was movies that.
It's like, 89, bro.
No, it was released in 90.
It says IMDb says 89.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
I don't know what you're.
It's a lie.
Tango and Cash release date December 22nd, 1989.
That's what it said, 1990.
I'm sorry, Orokosaki. Either way, it doesn't matter. We'll throw it in there fucking anyway.
Well, it's so goddamn close, okay? So you got October, November, December. It's 3 months, all right? Give me a break.
No, it came out in December, but of 1989.
It came out in December?
Of 1989.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, okay, but the home video release was probably in March of 1990.
Yeah, whole video. Yeah, definitely 1990.
Well, you know what? Fuck IMDb and fuck the goddamn internet. Because I looked up highest grossing movies of 1990 and it had Tango and fucking Cash on it.
It must have had the home video one.
No, I don't know.
Or no, that would make sense actually, because if it was released on the 22nd of December in 89, most of its gross mostly would have came from 1990. You know, so that's where you got your lines.
I don't want to play the game anymore. Fuck you. I'm throwing my controller down. I quit.
Talk about Tango and Cash.
No, I don't want to anymore because it came out in 89. It's not fucking fair. Everybody's going like, I have to pick another one now. I have to pick another one. So you go ahead and pick your number 2. I have to pick another one.
All right, I'll give you guys my number 1 while Jay thinks of something other than Tango and Cash, which is bullshit. Great. Hey, dude, if Tango and Cash is in there, 2's a great spot. Like, it's great. It's a great idea. My number 1 though, Orokosaki, it's going to be, Arachnophobia is going to be my number 1 film of the year 1990. A film that this movie has it all, man. And it was crazy. It's crazy to think that I would put this above Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Tremors and all this shit. But dude, I'm telling you, when you go back and you watch Arachnophobia today, Jeff Daniels, John Goodman, this movie had it all. I think it was an Amblin film, by the way, but it feels like a Steven Spielberg directed fucking horror classic. It has it all. It's funny as fuck. It's one of the scariest movies of all time. If you have any fear of spiders, The way they did it from the cereal boxes to the shower to that old dude who had a Black Widow in his fucking shoe, or so he thought. Fucking this movie, it had the effects, the fucking fun. It had the action sequences. It was a movie's movie. A tentpole fucking has it all. When you think of a complete film that also has crazy horror leanings, Arachnophobia is one of my favorite movies of all fucking time. So yeah, it's my number one.
All right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna put it on there. I don't give a shit. All right, I don't like. I want to return this fucking game to the Xbox store. I think I'm not getting any enjoyment out of this. I'm going to put Night of the Living Dead, the Tom Savini, Night of the Living Dead. And we said earlier, it scared the shit out of me as a kid. I forgot it came out in 1990. I had to look. Obviously, I don't trust the internet. Who would have thought the internet tells you lies? What a fucking goddamn chapter in my life that I've learned this. So it's going to be Night of the Living Dead. I think Tom Savini did such a great job reimagining the Romero version of Night of the Living Dead, updating it and making it cool. Extending it when he needed to extend it, but for the most part, being overall respectful to the material.
Jay, I fucked up too.
What happened?
I fucked up too. I saw the chat. I somehow completely fucking missed it. Goodfellas was made in 1990.
That's my number one, bitch.
Well, Jay, that's my number one.
Nope. You
no,
can't. You get to live with the king of the spiders, whore. No, 1990 called, and they get to give. Yo, you don't get any fucking.
No, I'm doing it. Shut up.
You keep on spelling arachnophobia.
1A super.
Hey, dude,
awesome.
I haven't even got to my number one yet. It was Goodfellas. You ruined my fucking reveal.
I'm sorry. All right, I fucked up. I'm human. I'm standing here.
All right,
I'm standing here.
Well, I mean, to no surprise, my number one was Goodfellas. Yeah. Obviously, one of the choice. Is it the greatest mafia movie of all time? I mean, I don't know. I'm going to let the scholars decide that with fortune cookies. Way smarter than me. Is it better than fucking Godfather Part 2? Is it better than Scarface? I don't know, Joe. I just know that Goodfellas is the one movie that I remember watching as a youngster and saying, that's badass. I want to get into a life of crime and get with some mafia guys. And I'm not Italian, so I'm fucked. But either way, Goodfellas in of itself, Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Is it the best performance that those guys have ever had in a mafia movie? Absolutely. I will 100% say that, even though Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro was amazing Casino, and for the most part, De Niro's participation in Godfather Part 2, even though it was not really, I mean, it's whatever. Goodfellas, I mean, dude, what can you say about it? Like, it's literally a national treasure. It's a national treasure of a movie. It's like, there's no way that no one's ever seen the movie. There's no way. Like, yeah, it's like when they assign you shit to read in high school, it was like, you got to read Hemingway and you got to read like fucking Herman Melville. You also got to watch Goodfellas, because if you don't, you're a piece of shit and you're going to fail this class. So it's like it's a mandatory thing that you must watch to get through life. But it's a legendary movie.
I feel bad even speaking because I've failed this city.
I like how you put 1A. Like, you put 1A.
Super best, awesome. It's the best. I can't. Yeah, dude.
You have to erase arachnophobia.
Yeah, I'm not going to erase arachnophobia. I can't do all the typing.
You have to pick one or the other.
No, I don't, Jay.
I had to get rid of Tango and Cash.
I didn't tell you to do that, slut. I will take out Exorcist 3 and then move everything down a slot. All right, that's what I'm going to do.
That's fine. That's fair.
That's what I'm doing. But yeah, so I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry. I fucked up.
You sound like Biden trying to remember his speech.
Or George Bush, he threw a shoe at me. No, you're absolutely right, dude. It's one. This will be my top 5 films of all time. Like, fuck 1990. Top 5 movies ever. Goodfellas is going to be in there. Maybe even top 2. Yeah, dude. Everything you said is absolutely fucking.
And by the way, I was gonna say fuck you, chat. Okay, I wanted to see Mike's face when I picked that as my number one, because I wanted to be like, that didn't come out in 1990. That didn't come out in 1990. I wanted to.
Where's
hear that.
Arachnophobia in your list? What's your problem with arachnophobia? You fucking.
It's about
bitch.
fucking.
Ernest goes to jail.
I hate spiders. I fucking hate spiders.
That's why it's so good. God damn it. I will fucking come over there and suck your dick. I mean,
I hope you do, and I'll make out with you with my eyes open.
God damn it! Stare at me while I'm doing it. Look at me. Listen. Yeah, Goodfellas. I'm gonna go get the papers. I'm gonna go with that. Give me the gun, Karen. Karen. Dude. There's nothing. There's nothing to say. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
What? One of the best scenes in that movie is like that dude when he like parks across the street after Karen gets assaulted, and he like takes the butt of his gun and beats the. Oh yeah. I swear to Christ, if you ever come near again, I'll fucking kill you. I'm like, God damn it! I want to
So
fuck
good.
that man. And I've never said that before, but I'm saying it out loud.
Hey, you popped your cherry. Hey.
He's like, yeah, but I
Oh.
got busted. He's like, yeah, but you didn't say that. You didn't give them nothing. They don't got nothing.
Hello, listener. Do you like scary movies? What's your favorite scary movie? Well, Jay and Mike like scary movies too. You should go and subscribe to their podcast, We Watched a Movie. Because if you don't, I'll gut you like a... Well, I think you get the idea. Enjoy yourselves while you still can.